Hello everyone, if you don't know me already, I'm Tara, the dance doctor. This is Hera, my friend, my assistant. He's going to be helping me teach this lesson today, which is lady styling while dancing bachata with a partner. So my lady styling with a partner for salsa have been so well received, and all of you are requesting to see lady styling for bachata, and so I decided to make this video with Hera. As always, before we begin, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the post notifications so you can see when I upload more stuff like this. Now let's get dancing.
Hi everyone, I just want to take a minute of your time to talk to you about my Patreon membership. If you've been looking for a quick, cost-effective way to improve your dancing, excel at learning choreography, and get into shape, look no further. Each week I upload a Quick Tip Tuesday video addressing different physical, mental, and emotional aspects of dancing, sharing my insights from 31 years of dancing and 10 years of teaching. Things like how to do a body roll, turning hacks, how to be a great follower, 5 things all social dancers should know, setting and achieving goals, and learning and remembering choreography. I also share a weekly salsa class, which is aimed to help with corporal awareness, coordination, and routine memorization and retention. Each month, I create a 45-minute dance workout done to popular music so you can smile while you sweat and enjoy the endorphin boost without the gym. This comes to 9 new recorded classes each month, plus early access to all of my YouTube lessons. And when you sign up, you also get access to all past classes, which is over a year's worth of content, all for only $10 a month. Go to patreon.com/dancedoctor to sign up today.
So we are going to start very simply with talking a little bit about the connection in the basic step, because this is something that I teach very consistently. And when I tend to think about styling for dancing, I don't think about it in a superficial way. Do this with your arm. That is part of it, but a bigger part of it is how we hold ourselves and how we connect to our partner. That really does make a big difference in how our movements look. So we're going to start by talking a little bit about the connection. When I'm dancing with my partner, whether I'm in closed hold or open hold, I want to adopt a posture that is inclined, which means that my hips are tilting forward toward the floor. I'm bringing my rib cage toward my partner, and this arm is nice and relaxed, and I am kind of melting into him. I adopt this posture for all social dancing, but especially in bachata, okay? So my rib cage is coming forward, and this arm is nice and relaxed. So wherever his arm is, baja tu brazo. So say his arm is there, my arm is here, relax on his arm. If his arm is up here, mine is up here. I wanna let this hand drape. I don't wanna be gripping him. I'm just nice and relaxed, and my body is melting toward him. So as we do our basic, I want to maintain this posture so that I can always feel where he is. If we're in open position, same thing. I'm going to relax my arms. A lot of women like to do this with their arms when they're dancing. No, I shall not pass my elbows. Yeah, he knows. He's laughing. So what I like to think about when I'm dancing, and again, especially in bachata, is my hands are here with my partner. I'm going to bring my body toward my hands, which does mean that my elbows can go back a little bit, not because I'm bringing my hands back, but because I'm going toward my hands, which helps me connect to my partner, which helps my dancing look a lot more natural than if I'm doing what most people do, which is this, okay? So that does take a bit of practice, but if you do think about relaxing the joints in your arms as much as possible and really melting toward your partner until you find them, it does create this really beautiful connection, okay? So now that we've talked about that, I want to talk about the first kind of little adornment option that you have just in your basic step or in your stationary basic, and that is, if we do our basic, 1, 2, 3, tap. If my left leg is free, and it has to be the left leg because the right leg is between his legs, so we do not want to lift that knee, I have the option to brush it up his leg. Or if we do a stationary basic in lugar, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, lift, 1, 2, 3, okay? So I like to make sure that I'm brushing this up his leg because it keeps this movement a little more contained, and then we avoid what I like to call the fire hydrant pose, which is bringing the knee way out here, yeah? So this is an intimate movement. I don't have to brush it up super high, but I am going to bring it up his leg because it does help us kind of reinforce our connection, and it makes this movement look a lot nicer, okay? So now we are going to demonstrate that movement with music. Okay, so the next movement that we're going to be working on is just a basic underarm turn, of which there are millions of variations, but I'm going to be talking about how we can prepare for that both with two-hand hold and one-hand hold. Okay, so if we're doing this with two-hand hold, very common in bachata, 1, 2, when we're preparing for a turn, the leader actually sends us a little bit back. 1, 2, 3, tap. Now, let's talk about what we're doing here. A common mistake that I see a lot is people will rotate their body. Now, I'm exaggerating this, but this is kind of what happens. I do not like this, okay? And the reason is because it doesn't really prepare me for a turn, and it ends up looking and feeling pretty awkward. So what I want to do, when the leader sends me back, I'm moving my body back, and more specifically, my hips, okay? I bring my ankles together as always, and then if I want to, I could add a little lift in that hip that does twist me just a tad, but I don't want to twist on that third step. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, tap. Okay? Ankles together, pulling away from my partner, because like I said, the connection is really the most important part. The reason he's sending me back is to give me momentum for the turn, okay? And so I do want to go back away from him, not back perpendicular to him. So 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. Now I do want to talk about another kind of variation that gets used a lot in bachata, which is when the leader does this kind of swooping action to prepare for a turn. I'm going to do it facing away so you can see. I'm going to allow my arm to go out with my elbow going out, which if you're a student of mine, you know that I don't do that very frequently. But because the leader is leading my arm out, I allow it. But now from here, I need to allow that arm to drape over my head like I would in any other turn. So we go 1, 2, 3, and drape, 2, 3, and. Okay? Making sure that you're really relaxing your arms. For me, that always comes before any adornment or any other styling that we're adding to our dancing, because it makes everything look good if the arms that connected to the leader is relaxed, okay? So now let's talk about if we do this turn preparation with one arm. 1, 2, 3, tap. I'm going to allow this hand to drape across. So I'll actually do it facing the other way. So we go 1, 2, 3, tap. I'm bringing the elbow in and then the arm, yeah? So we go 1, 2, 3, tap. And then as he turns me, 1, 2, 3, tap. I can let that arm kind of come across in front of my face and go out, or it can also come down if that's more comfortable for you, okay? So what makes more sense to go from here, right? And 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap. And 1, 2, whatever we do after that, okay? So basically, one arm or two arm, I'm going to pull my hips back. 2, 3, tap, 5, 6, 7, tap, okay? Or with one arm, 1, 2, 3, in, 5, 6, 7, and, okay? So now we are going to demonstrate those two options with music. Next movement we're going to be talking about are feathers or plumas. So any variation on 1, 2, when the leader is throwing my hand and asking for it in a different location. We're going to just practice this one because it's the simplest, but I do want to talk about what our arms are meant to do when we do the feather. So for me, I always have found it funny that this is called a feather because I feel like if you try and throw a feather, you can't give it a direction. It's going to go wherever it goes. So what I actually like to think about is that I'm a rock. My arms are a rock because a rock is easy to direct because it has weight. So when the leader is throwing my hand, whether I know it's going to happen or not, I want to actually allow it to have weight and feel the natural gravity of that movement. So I allow him to move it, and like a rock, if I did this with the rock, it would go up and over. If you throw a ball, it's going to have an up and over trajectory, and that is what we are trying to create with our arms. So a common mistake, I'm going to do it facing this way so you can see, a common mistake that I see is women go like this, yeah, or they go like that, yeah, or they lead the movement themselves, yeah. So what we want is we want to actually feel like we're allowing the leader to push our arm, and when he lets go, we're creating a nice weighty movement, keeping our shoulders pressed down. I'm just moving from the arm, and I do want to coordinate the landing of my hand with the 3 or the tap. I don't want to get to him too soon. So I don't want to go 1, 2, yeah? 1, 2, 3. My arms have the same rhythm. Now, I'll tell you one other thing that is a pet peeve of mine as a leader is they'll do all of this correctly, but they'll go like this. 1, 2, 3, plop, yeah? And really give me all the weight of their arm as they come down because I told them to be a rock. The only place I want you to be a feather is when your hand is coming down because it hurts, you know, as a leader. It's not the best. 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3. So we go up and we come down. So up, and then let the elbow bring you down and set your hand into his. 1, 2, elbow, out, elbow. And if you want, you can also follow your hand with your eyes if you wanted to add a little extra whimsy to the movement, okay? But it is also important, I will say, if we're doing plumas or feathers, that you watch and make sure you know where the leader's hand is, that where he wants your arm to end up. Don't just go following your hand and then look for his, okay? So it does kind of depend on the context, but it's always important that we create a nice round trajectory, that our arm has gravity to it. It's going from the shoulder and then letting the elbow fold down, okay? So now we are going to demonstrate this movement with music. Piggybacking on this kind of feather-ish theme, we're going to be doing this turn. 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap, and variations on that theme, okay? So in this version of the turn, he's kind of throwing my arms and then expecting me to finish the trajectory. So he's in essence doing a little feather, and then I'm going to finish the movement by bringing my arms up over my head. I can either touch my wrist like I did in the salsa styling video, or I can bring my wrists together. But in either case, I want my elbows going out to the side. I want to make sure that I'm not coming in front of my face. My biceps should be lined up with my ear or behind it if possible, so you can see my profile. And as long as he is touching my waist, I'm going to keep my arms over my head. When he touches my shoulder, then I know that it's time to come back into frame. A common mistake that both of us were just saying we experience as leaders is the women come down right away. And then you get in the way, we can't turn you. So you do want to make sure the arms stay up until he touches the shoulder blade, and then I know that I can bring my arm down. Another variation on this movement is he maintains contact with my arms and he turns me from my elbows, which looks like this. 3, 5, 6, 7, same thing. It's important that I keep my arms up until it's obvious that he likes to come back into frame. And speaking of coming back into frame, when he comes back, gírame, ¿está bien? When he comes back into frame, I don't need to bring my arms down right away. I let them drape down in their own time. We don't ever want to appear to be in a rush when we're dancing, especially when it comes to arm styling. So you want to be nice and calm and clean with your movements so that they do look nice and they don't look like you're tense or worried about what you're doing, okay? So now we are going to demonstrate those turns with music. That we're going to be working on today is this one. So we'll do our basic 1, 2, 3, tap, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2. And then the other variation on this one, we'll do it facing this way. 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, tap. Okay? So the first one, again, another movement that kind of reminds me of Kung Fu, which I practiced for a very short period of time when my boyfriend was really into it. But this kind of like arm to arm staying connected with him in the forearm. So I don't want to separate from him. When I start to understand, oh, he's doing this, what a lot of women will do is do the movement themselves. And again, I want to be a rock in that I want to have enough weight in my arm that he really feels like he's moving it, which, because this is a styling video, makes the movement look good. When I do it on my own, when I go ahead of the leader, inherently what I do doesn't look connected and it looks rushed, okay? So we want to go 1, 2, 3, tap. Now within this, I'm also adding a little extra movement in my hip. Another common mistake that I see when I'm teaching is women will go like this. Straighten up, twist away from the leader. It's all very dry and disconnected. So what I want to do, again, I stay facing him. I'm not twisting away from him, but I am adding a little extra, like a pendulum swing in the hip. 1, 2, 3, tap. Now, let's talk about this hand. Where does it land? Here? No. Here. I'm either on his neck or like up here on his shoulder. I don't want to be too far away from him. The whole point of this movement is to get me closer. And again, I can use this knee movement, 5, 6, and whatever comes next, okay? So we'll do it this way. Let's try it that way. So we go 1, 2, 3, tap, okay? So stay facing your leader with your chest forward. Do a little extra hip swing because he does take you down when he does that movement. So you're going to use that to get a little extra hip movement. Let that come onto his neck, okay? That's the first version of this. The second version is us coming into shadow position where he does the same beginning, but then instead of bringing my arm over his head, he's going to push my forearm so that I turn, and I'm going to let this fold down in front of me. And when I'm in this position, this is probably a question I get more often than anything. What do I do with this arm? I always put my hand on the leader's hand because it makes us look connected. If he needed to turn me with this hand, he could, and that way we don't have this kind of outlier out there, okay? So whenever I'm in shadow position, if his hand is on my body, I like to just put my hand right on his hand. It's very comfortable for both of us, and it helps him feel more secure with our connection, and it looks nice. So we go 1, 2, 3, tap, 1. I suppose you could probably do a loop over your head if you wanted to. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3. So that would be another option. You just, of course, need to be conscious of the leader. Make sure that he's not within whacking distance of your elbow. So if you do decide to do the loop, you need to make sure that your arm has already passed his face. I don't want to start it here. I want to pass him, and then I can bring it down. Yeah? Because you hit a leader once, not likely you'll get asked to dance again, okay? And I'm doing the same thing where I'm exaggerating this hip movement. I'm not twisting away from my leader. My right side actually comes more toward him as he does that because it helps him lead the movement and it makes my movement look much better because I'm just a little bit delayed. In general, again, a connection thing is if he pushes me this way, empújame hacia allá, I'm not going to go like this. That has no style. It has no connection. If he pushes me that way, I'm going to push back as I move in that direction. If he's going to pull me, jálame, I'm going to pull back. If he pulls me, I don't go like that. I'm going to react by reciprocating whatever connection he gives me. So that's just a really good piece of general dancing advice, but it especially is relevant when we are dancing bachata because the leader is super reliant in the arms, in the body, as we get more involved on our waiting and responding to him, not just in the arms, but also in the body, okay? So now after that quick tangent, we're going to demonstrate this last movement with music. Thank you so much for joining us for today's lesson. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you thought, if you have any questions or if you have requests for other movements or concepts that you would like me to cover in another video. And until next time, keep dancing.
Do you want to be able to do this? And this? And even this? Well, then you need to do this, and this, and even this. My 21-day Train Like a Dancer course gives you all the tools you need to transform into the dancer you've always wanted to be. Try the first 3 days free and see why dancers from all over the world are saying things like this, and this, and even this. Start training like a dancer today and unlock your true dancing potential. What are you waiting for?